Hello children. In my last video, I discussed about heritage of India. That is our topic. This is the second part of heritage of India. In that video, I explained you about what is heritage. Let us recall, heritage means a gift that we get from our forefather. Even I explained you about the culture. Culture means way of life. Even you were taught about the types of culture and heritage. That is natural heritage and cultural heritage. So today I am going to take you on the tour of Gujarat because our today's topic is cultural heritage of Gujarat. So let's begin with places having cultural and archaeological importance. Students, let's go first of all to Lothal. Lothal is a place which is 66 kilometers far away from Ahmedabad. So you can visit that place. This is an important cultural place in Gujarat. Apart from that, we are having Rangpur, Dholavira, which is at Khadri Bed in Kutch. Even we have Rosari. All the places are having their own cultural and archaeological importance. So student, now let's move to the important tourism sports having historical values. So we are having Victory Tower of Vadnagar, Sun Temple of Morera, Rudra Mahalaya of Siddhpur, Jama Masjid of Ahmedabad. Here Sun Temple of Morera is one of the most important temples of Hindu culture. Jama Masjid, you would have seen it. It is in Ahmedabad only, near Teen Darwaja. It is one of the most important mosque, or you can say masjid, of Muslim community. And you would find lots of people there during the time of Ramzan. Then we have Jhulta Minara, that is also called shaking minaret. You know children, actually Jhulta Minara, they were the minaret of mosque called Sidi Bashir Mosque. But now this mosque is totally ruined and there are two minars, and if you shake one, the second is automatically shaking. Therefore they are called Jhulta Minara. Sidi Sayyid Jali, it is in Ahmedabad. It was constructed in 1572. Sidi Sayyid, the name is given like that, but actually the history is the person who built it, his name was Sidi Saeed. He was from a Ghulam dynasty, or you can say slave dynasty, as this mosque was constructed by Sidi Saeed. The name came Sidi Sayyid, and it is near Lal Darwaja. You can go and have visit. Hate Singh Temple, Ahmedabad. It is near Shahi Bagh. Then we have places having religious importance, like Parsi Agyari of Navsari. Agyari is the place where Parsi people go for praying. Dwarkadhish Temple of Dwarka, one of the most important Char Dhams of Hindu community. Somnath Temple, you would have listened this word because it is one of the most important temples where thousands of devotees go there for praying or to visit this temple. Ambaji Temple, it is in North Gujarat. Ranchod Temple, it is in Dakur. So all these temples like Dwarka, Somnath, Ambaji Temple, Ranchod Temple, these are the temples of Hindu culture. They have their own importance in the history, and even today, crores of Hindus, they go there for worshipping. Then we have well-known religious, social and tourism places and events like Polo Forest in Vijayanagar, Kakaria Carnival, Ahmedabad. You would have even visited that Kakaria Carnival. When it happens, thousands of, or you can say crores of people visit it. The whole Kakaria light up. Then we have Tanarari Festival at Vadnagar and famous Ranotsav in Kutch. Then we have Jain and Buddhist tourist places. The Jain and Buddhist caves are found at Vadnagar, Taranga and Shamlaji. The students, from this, what you have learned? That India is a place where we find people of different communities, we follow the different culture, we have our own ideologies, but still we are one. Because India has always believed in unity in diversity. So students, just we went through the cultural places of Gujarat. Now our topic is India, land and people. We know that in India, different people, they came and settled down in India. So here, we are going to study about them. We are going to study about the tribe, their other name, their origin, where they settled in India, their characteristics, special skills, other details, and what was their contribution in India. So first of all, let's see Negrito. Actually, this Negrito, they are called Hapsi, Negroid and Negroes people. And they came from Africa. Their origin is African, we can say. But they came in India and they settled down here. They settled at Gujarat and Maharashtra. They have their own characteristics. Here we are talking about the physical characteristics. Like they were having black color, curly hair. Generally you would have seen Negroes people, they are having curly hair. And they were short in height. That means they were 4 to 5 feet in height. Special skill. They were, they have their own special skill. They used to entertain the people by showing these different skills during the occasions like marriages and other occasion. They are considered to be the most ancient inhabitants of India. That means if we consider, so they were the most ancient inhabitants who came from Africa to India. Next is Australoid. These people were known as Nishad. The name was given Nishad to them. And generally, they came in India and they settled at Assam, Nicobar and Myanmar. They came from Southeast Asia. Even their physical features are bit similar to Negroid only. They have black color, broad head, flat nose, and they were also short in height. They were very expert in making clay utensils and weaving. And student, their skeletons have been found in the excavation of Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. When the excavation work was done at Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, their skeletons were found. And students, where is Mohenjo-daro now? It is in Pakistan. And you would have seen movie of Hrithik Roshan, Mohenjo-daro. Dravidian, one of the most important tribes of India. They are known as Malayali, Tamilian, Kannada, Telugu. Originally, they are the habitants of India only. They were in the north. Generally, now, at present, we see all these Dravidian people like Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayali. They are found in South India. But originally, they were from North India. But when Aryan came, they have their own dominating nature. And these Dravidian people, generally they are peace-loving people. So what they did, they shifted to South India. So now we found these people in South India at the states like Tamil Nadu and Kerala. They are having dark complexion, thick lips. Their lips are generally thick. They have very dark eyes and broad nose. They were highly skilled in variety of crafts and arts like making boards and rafts. They were expert in making boards. It is considered that they were the direct descendants of the stone civilization, and they were the creator of Mohenjo-daro culture. They were very religious people. As I told you, they are peace-loving people. They gave the concept of mother as a goddess. They considered mother as a goddess, and they used to consider mother as a Parvati. They gave the concept of father. Father is like a god, and they considered father as Shiva. They followed the matriarchal family system. You know what is matriarchal family system? Where mother is the head of the family. Even they used to keep their surname, or they used to keep their mother's name after their name. Generally, what we keep our father's name. But here, Dravidian people, they used to keep their mother name. Like we are having a film director, Sanjay Leela Bhansali, is the best example who follows the matriarchal family system. He is having his mother name after his name. So they used to follow matriarchal system. They were nature lover. They were very religious. They used to worship nature, animals, and they started dhoop, deep, and aarti. That what Hindus do today. Today, when the Hindus go to the temple, generally they do the dhoop, deep, aarti. So these all things are given to us by Dravidian. So students, our next point is Aryan. You know, they are also known as Nordic Aryans. They have their origin from Indo-Iranian, and they settled at North India, that is places like Punjab and Uttar Pradesh. As I told you, Dravidians were in North India, but due to the dominance of Aryans, they shifted to South India. Their characteristics, as I told you, physical characteristics, they were fair in color, they were having long hair, sharp nose, blue eyes, and blonde hair. They were expert in horse riding. They were the creator of Aryan civilization, and during the post-Vedic period, the region was extended up to Mithila. Like Dravidians, they were also nature lover. They loved and worshipped trees, the sun, mountains, rivers, and even they gave the gift of hymns. As in Aarti, Hindus, they are singing hymns. That is a gift from Aryans. Our next is Mongoloid. They are known as Kirat. They came from North China via Tibet, and they settled down at Assam, Sikkim, and West Bengal. They were having yellowish complexion, flat face, almond-shaped eyes, and they were having chubby cheeks. Their look is similar to Chinese. They look like Chinese. And they started cultivation for the first time in the northwest of India. And let me give you an information about them. During this pandemic, as I told you, they look like Chinese. So in the places like Assam and Sikkim, they were considered as Chinese, and they were thrown out of their houses in this pandemic of coronavirus. Some people, they thought that they were Chinese, and they were thrown out of their houses. They believed that they were the spreader of this coronavirus. As we have gone through the journey of heritage of India, I explained you about the cultural heritage, natural heritage. Even we have learned about the cultural heritage of Gujarat. The last topic of this unit is our duty as a citizen to preserve this heritage. We know that this heritage is very important. So even in Article 51C in our Constitution, some duties have been given to the citizen. In that, clause number 6 suggests that as a citizen of India, it is our moral duty to protect and preserve this heritage. We see sometimes when we go to the historical places, we make the sketches, we write down our name, we are spoiling our own heritage. So it is our duty, according to the Article 51(7) and Clause 6, it is the duty of each and every citizen to protect and preserve our heritage. In clause number 7, it has been described that it is the duty of every citizen to protect animals, to protect environment, to protect rivers, to protect ponds. And in clause number 9, it has been described that it is the duty of every citizen of India to protect the public property, and we should shun the violence. We need to be peaceful people. So these 3 duties regarding the preservation of heritage, they are given in our constitution. So children, at last, what we have learned through this chapter, we have learned that as a citizen of India, it is our moral duty to protect this heritage. We should not spoil it, because this heritage is the mirror of India. It reflects the identity of India. So children, I hope that you would have understood this chapter. Go through all the points that I have discussed. Go through the charts that I have made on the board. We'll meet in the next session with a new topic. Thank you.